It is estimated that there will be 2.14 billion digital shoppers by the end of 2021. That's almost about 27% of the global population. And at least 30% of the whole online shopping which happens gets returned for one reason or the other. And that's a shocking fact. And in today's innovation case study video, we are going to explore this one particular company who is doing amazing things when it comes to return policy or the whole return thing. And the company which we are going to explore in this particular video, it's called as Happy Returns, and PayPal just acquired them. The main reason or the core reason behind it is still I'm not sure about, like what are the details of it, how PayPal is going to benefit out of it in their ongoing business. That still remains a bit unclear, but we will jump onto Happy Returns and understand what they are doing. This is their website, as you can see on the screen. To be honest, when I went through this website and went through all this solution, pricing, resource and everything, it was a bit like it created some sort of confusion. It was not as clear as it should have been, but they do have a bigger business. They are doing real things and solving a real problem, and we will talk about that. And to talk about that, we will jump to our drawing board and explore it further. But before we do that, let me quickly introduce myself to you guys. My name is Suyog, also known as the Fun Indian Guy. I'm a service designer, a creative strategy innovation consultant working on my own on different projects, also a filmmaker, musician, podcaster, and a founder of an online innovation lab called Futuring Now. And this is the Fun Indian Guy channel where we talk about creativity, design, innovation and lifestyle. And in this particular segment, we go on exploring amazing innovation case studies from across the globe, so we can get some sort of inspiration here and there in our own projects, in our own startups, in our own clients' projects, depending on your context. If you are a designer, if you're working in innovation and strategy, if you're working on your own product, or if you're a student, it depends. And these sorts of case studies always help to bring out a different perspective, or to bring out new ideas, or to bring out different ways of problem solving in ongoing journeys, or just to expand the horizons. It always has happened to me this way, and I hope you will find also some sort of value through this. With that, let's jump and see what these guys are actually doing. So we are talking about Happy Returns. Let's just talk about this basic customer journey of a guy or a girl who is trying to buy something online. So here, this beautiful lady, she needs to buy an outfit. So she goes on a website, sees through different options, and makes a purchase. And then the outfit gets delivered to her house, and then she gets excited and she is like, let me try it out. And she tries it out, and for some reason it's tight and it's not fitting her body, and she's not very happy with the kind of fit the outfit has. So she is a bit upset about it, so she decides to send this thing back. And then she realizes there is no easy return policy. It's not very clear. She doesn't know how to approach it. It's a bit confused, or it's a bit ambiguous. And then she realizes on top of that she needs to pack the whole thing, the outfit, and mail it herself to the company or to the shop to get the refund or to get this whole return thing sorted. And these two things, that not being able to understand how to return and then taking the extra steps to return, are the two things which are the main problem in this whole chain. You might wonder that why there is a return policy problem, whereas a lot of websites already have existing return policies and return mechanisms like Amazon or something like that. But just to bring your attention to the different players in the market, there are multiple stores beyond the big chains, and these multiple stores are, let's say, putting up stores on this Shopify, or they're having their own website and they're selling stuff off that. And for such services, it's very difficult to set up their own return delivery system, and that's what the main challenge or the key pain point in the system is. That is a problem. And it's not only a problem for the end customer. Of course, for the end customer, it's a problem of returning and packing and everything. But the main problem, the core problem, is for the seller. And why would it be a severe problem for a seller? Bunch of reasons could be less buying willingness or less willingness to buy. Because of this experience, the customer might not feel like coming back to a website and buying something because of the whole refund or, let's say, return policy. Poor customer retention. You can't hold on to these customers because they purchase something and then they are not able to get the best out of it and they're not able to return it, so they might not come back to your website. A lot of people also see the return policy before buying, and if they don't see one, they might not buy from your website. This is also one more challenge. the return itself is going to be very messy, because even at your warehouse you'll receive different couriers and packages, and then you have to put it in the log and then put it online and make the whole sense of it, and then also again approach the refund policy. So these are some additional cases, and there are some statistics on the topic as well. As you can see here, about 92% of consumers will buy something again if returns are easy, whereas 79% of consumers want free return shipping. Again, 67% of shoppers check the return page before making a purchase. 58% want hassle-free. 47% people want easy to print label. 62% of shoppers are more likely to shop online if they can return an item in store. That's another interesting thing. So on and so forth. In this particular article, there are different statistics on the topic. So all these things contribute together to make a bigger problem for a seller who is trying to sell some products online and not having a return policy or a return mechanism in place. That's why, and that's where Happy Returns come in picture. And they are not only like creating a return mechanism or a mailing or delivery thingy, they are going beyond it and creating different offerings and different solutions for this particular problem. And in fact, what they have realized is by having this easy return thingy, which they can offer on the, let's say, shopper's website, a lot of people are more willing to buy, as we saw in the statistics, but also they're able to push exchange as an option instead of return. And that helps to keep the customer in the ecosystem instead of just returning and refunding and getting off. By exchanging, the person will still be in the ecosystem. You won't have to return the money, and then the client can still stay and make best out of your offerings. So that's what these guys are able to provide, that one-click easy policy and pushing exchange over return. Beyond that, they have different ways of returning. So they have option of exchange at the shop, so you can just go to the shop and get it exchanged, or just try another outfit and see for yourself. Then there is another option of returning at the bar. The bar is like a location which they have created, about 2,600 drop-off stations or locations across US, and these are like a physical locations where you can just go and drop the stuff off. So you just give the box and return it. You have one QR code, you read it, and that's all done. You don't have to pack, you don't have to stick a label, you don't have to courier. Just go there and drop it off. That's like option number 2. And there is option number 3, which is return mail, where you just like Amazon, right? You start the return process, and then the guy comes and picks it up from you. Again, you don't have to put labels and everything because it's all digitized. The guy already has the app and knows what goes where and where to send what. So that's like a third option. So by providing these 3 different kinds of methods of returning, they are making sure that the client or the customer gets the best experience out of it. They're more willing to do things, they're more willing to buy more, they are not running away from such platforms because there is ease in this whole situation. So they make sure that even if you as a shopper don't have these mechanisms, you can easily come to us, Happy Shoppers, and have this service from us. And that's very interesting. And by doing that, these guys are making the customers happy, more willing, and they are having the more customer retention on their particular website. And that's a win situation for everybody. And these are the 2 core things which they are doing: creating a service on top of a service. It's more like they are not creating the whole online, or let's say they are not becoming or trying to be Amazon, but they are bridging the missing link. By missing link, what I mean is there is lack of return mechanism for such websites, so they are coming in picture and providing that. And it's not very easy to replace because they already have a huge infrastructure place. As I said, 3 different options, so they become the go-to person or go-to people when it comes to return. And it's a missing link, so they are not even changing anything, they are just bridging the gap which they saw in the system. And that's how they're solving the problem of returning. Again, there are a bunch of things behind that as well. They are doing aggregate logistics. That means they are not just running around with their trucks and the courier people. They are making sure that they use less carbon footprint. Again, of course, there will be carbon footprint involved in all this, but by aggregating the logistics and having like hubs where they can receive and send the packages and then manage all those things and orchestrate all those things, they are trying to reduce as much carbon footprint as possible to have it more sustainable in a way. And those are some of the things which I could catch from their website. That's that's all from this particular case study, guys. I hope you learned something new. I hope you found some sort of value out of this. I hope you can go ahead and have some sort of ideas which you can apply in your own context, in your own project, in your client's project, in your study project, wherever you are. And I also hope that these case studies will stay with you, and then whenever you're doing some project, you might remember that, oh, we had seen this video about happy returns which might be interesting for us now, so you can come back to this video, refer to it, and use it in your particular project. That will be also cool to do. And that's how also I function. We gather a lot of, like, we go on the discovery hunt, we gather a lot of case studies, we go through them, we study them, we understand what kind of problem they are solving, and it's not like we are supposed to use them right away, like the inspiration bit, but then when we go ahead and we're doing something else, and then in that particular project we are like, that case study we saw back in the day about this could be very useful in this ongoing project, and then we come back to the case study. So I hope these videos play that kind of a role in your process, and if it will, or if it does, I'll be super duper happy. And if you want to share that with me, just put a comment down below, so I also know that this is creating some sort of value for you. With that said, guys, thank you for staying till the end. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next video in one more innovation case study or a good practice, or on our daily ish pod, where we talk about, again, creativity, design, innovation, and lifestyle. With that said, take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.